Hello, everyone. Hello to all our viewers and all our listeners to this LinkedIn TV. And we're making a huge comeback again after being silent for a while. And we're introducing a new thing, as I told you before. So this is our new segment, and we're focusing on the things that matter. That's climate change, really, and conservation, and sustainability, and how to make our world sustainable at this particular moment. So on this our very first show of this new segment, it's called The World We Want, because really we want a world that's sustainable, a world that we can all coexist, and a world that won't be toxic. So on this our very first show, we have a very good friend of mine, a great friend of mine who's really done a lot for this world, and I'm sure having her here for the next few minutes will be great. So welcome, Sheryl.
Thank you.
You could introduce yourself.
Yes, so I'm Sheryl Mboya. I'm an innovator, a climate change enthusiast, and an advocate. And I'm also a child rights advocate. And I'm a student. And I'm the managing director at GreenX Telemechanics. So basically, GreenX is an innovation and technology developer, and we seek to empower more youths and more innovators to get out of their shell and provide solutions that can be able to help solve challenges we face.
And that's quite a huge I'd say introduction. She's one person, but she has a lot of things in her table, and I think that's why I brought her here today. And I believe that through our conversation, you'll be able to learn something, you'll be able to get something great. You told me that you're quite passionate about conservation and climate change action. So why that line of advocacy, while there are so many other things you could focus in?
Yeah, there's so many things that one can focus on, but then the one thing that I feel we all need to do is we all need to align whatever we're advocating towards our passions. I'm not saying that all the other things are irrelevant. I'm also quite passionate about so many other things that I'm not vocal about, within the active advocacy space, like mental health, given that I am a recovering mental illness patient.
Oh, you once a patient?
Yeah, I actually suffered from high functioning depression and suicidal thoughts. But it's good to be on the recovery journey, and I feel like to some extent the reason why I chose environmental conservation was I felt like that was what I would be able to give out more. You know how we say you can't fill from an empty cup. I said I was a child rights advocate, and I still am, but not in the active, advocacy space. During my childhood years, I started becoming a child rights advocate from 8 years old, and I realized that there were so many things that were quite interfering with my mental recovery journey. So I kind of pulled out a little bit and focused more on something that wasn't so much draining on me, and I could be able to give out so much, at the end of the day. So I felt like within that space, I'm able to give out more, and I'm even able to contribute more while still maintaining my own sense of, worth, my own, still filling up my cup. So I'm able to give out more while still filling up my cup. And at the end of the day, I'm not in a space where, it's draining. I'm giving out so much, it's emptying my cup, and, I feel that's why I inclined more on conservation.
Yeah, I see that's quite a reasonable cause to pursue. You've talked about something. You say that the environmental conservation course that you're taking right now, and course by this I mean the advocacy thing that you're doing, is something that gives you much joy. It's something that fills your cup. I tend to interpret it like you get to learn, right? So what have you learned so far, like since you started this journey of conservation, climate change activism? What have you learned?
Okay, so what I've learned over the past few years is that the youths are the people who are impacting this space the most. The youths are the people who are driving our leaders to advocate, or rather to create laws and policies that are going to help the climate, conserve the environment. So I've also seen a rise of climate youth advocates within the space, and I'm loving it. And I also saw the partnership that youths are doing. So they push the leaders, they push the private and public society to do better, because at the end of the day, when you look at the conservation issues we're facing, the global warming and all these effects that you're facing, we all inherited it as youths. We want the cause of this, we inherited it, and it's us who are just going out of our way, pushing the leaders to do better, so that our children and our children's children won't be able to inherit this. So I think that's what I've learned, especially within this space for the past few years.
From your experience on the things you've learned, on your engagements and all that, with the United Nations has set out the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, which look around like the sustainability of the earth and all that. They have put a 2030 deadline. We're in 2023, 7 years to go.
Yeah.
Do you think they're going to achieve these goals, especially around that's goal 14, if I'm not wrong, the one on climate action?
Let's look at the rising leaders. We have so many youths who are now getting into leadership positions. We're not now just sitting at the back and saying that we want our leaders to do this. We're now the leaders who are trying to do it. So I feel like if we see the trajectory of more youths becoming involved in our world today, more organizations being involved, more states being involved, we'll see a better future. Because let me also give you a concept. There's this new term in environmental law called ecocide. Basically it's environmental genocide. And
ecocide.
Now, ecocide. And now we're seeing ecocidal foundations like Stop Ecocide. They're trying to push for the Rome Statute to be amended and include ecocide as the 5th international crime. So basically, if you wantonly and if you purposely destroy the environment, you're committing an international crime. Now, if we see these policies being created, these engagements being done in the next few years, 7 years, we will achieve it. Now, going back to the Maynard factor,
to the cup half empty.
Yeah. So when you look at the trajectory where we are having all these social injustices, and this is something I always talk about every single time I engage with someone. We're in Kenya, right?
Yes.
And Kenya is a developing country. We are a third world country. We are faced with so many injustices, let alone the environmental injustices. We have so many social injustices. We are grappling with unemployment crisis. We are grappling with poverty, and as the inflation, the economic inflation keeps on growing, we're now getting dragged behind, economically speaking. So when you go to a common mwananchi, a common citizen, and try explaining the effects of climate change, the effects of environmental pollution, plastic pollution, this person is trying to get $1 on that single day to be able to eat, to be able to provide for the family. So if you're not able to solve the social injustices you're facing, then it's very hard for us to tackle all these talks on climate justice or climate action. So it's all about ensuring that at the end of the day, our leaders are able to solve the various social injustices we face. They're able to help us provide for ourselves. And it's something that I think I also pushed forward during COP27 when we were, it was a good advocacy by the civil society to force the polluters to pay. We call it loss and damage. But at the end of the day, I was also pushing for relief to resilience. So how are we as Kenyans, how are we as Africans going to create a sustainable environment where we're able to, manufacture, able to produce, and able to, we're able to provide for ourselves so that you're not always borrowing money. So I think these social injustices are pushing us backwards in terms of achieving the sustainable development goals. And because I'm estimating if we try achieving in the next 7 years the SDGs, we will need to have solved a lot of these social injustices that we face as developing countries and less developed countries, the LDCs. And realistically speaking, that's not going to happen in 7 years.
Very important point there, I think. And you've talked about you attending the COP27. It was how they call it, Sheryl. I can't pronounce it well. Yeah. So how was it? How did you get? Let's start there. Like there could be a certain young person out there really wants to attend these things. He's passionate about advocacy. They don't know how did you get there, first of all?
So first of all, let me just say I didn't get sponsorship, like so many other young people. So as a young person, you're looking forward to engaging with several organizations that are able to sponsor your trip to such events. Now, I'm quite fortunate to have a good society around me, and my parents actually catered a majority of that trip. So I went to Sharm el Sheikh because I didn't feel like we had so much of the innovative voices on the table, and that's one of the things I bring to the table. I want more innovative voices. We say that the youths are the most innovative generation, but then aside from that, innovators form 1% of the global population, like literally 1%. So if you're not going to be involving innovative voices on the table, then I think we're just blabbering and not going to find solutions, because at the end of the day, we are the people who are able to sit down, analyze the problem, and now provide solutions
to the challenges.
So I feel like to some extent it was quite impactful. To some extent it was like dragging the cat or the horse. That's saying. So I mean it was a 50-50 win.
A 50-50 win. I think it's worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it.
It was worth it. Okay. What did you come away with? Like when you came back, what did you bring for us? Like I mean, in terms of ideas, the things you learned there, the networks you got there. Is there something you can say about that?
Yes, I think from there we were able to gain a platform, as youths. And I'll actually even just bring you up to speed on a friend of mine, Anita Soina, who's currently been nominated and appointed the the global ambassador for water and sanitation for all. It's a UN hosted organization. So we are looking forward to be able to create more safe spaces for youths, more spaces for youths to engage, to collaborate. So I feel like to some extent we were able to create a platform that forced our leaders to include the youth on the table, because to some extent you are always being left behind. In conversations they'd be talking about youths, but then you look around the room or you look around the table and there's no even one single youth. So I think like we enable them or we force them to be able to create that space to include several youths, or even at least one youth on the table, so that at every single discussion, at every single forum, you're able to have a youthful voice, a literal youthful voice at the table.
I see. I also understand you are an innovator, like literally an innovator, coming up with new things that will solve some of the problems that we have around sustainability. So could you tell us something a little about like your innovation, what you do, what you innovate?
Yeah, so well, we're working on several things, but then the one that's been on the video for quite a while was the edible tableware. Basically, it's a sustainable alternative to the single-use plastics we have. So take a plastic cup, plastic plates, the plastic cutlery, or even the bamboo alternatives. I mean, they're good, but then at the end of the day, you're also looking at the carbon emissions, the carbon footprint. So this is more sustainable because at the end of the day, our carbon footprint is lower and almost negligible, and it's also biodegradable and safe for consumption by literally the entire ecosystem, mankind, plants, animals, even fishes. So because at the end of the day, you're looking at the new statistics that was brought to our attention, that microplastics were recently discovered in breast milk. I mean, to me it was shocking because you're now trying to tell us that our actions are now affecting the unborn generation. Because say a child gets on the planet, a child is born, this child is going to drink or consume breast milk, and technically that breast milk might contain microplastics, so this child is actually consuming microplastics from the moment they're born. So I feel like this product is able to provide a more sustainable option, so that you're also able to cut down on our plastic consumption while getting rid of the already existing plastics on the planet.
Oh wow. The others that you're working on, or for now we be contented with that?
Yeah, for now be contented with that.
Alright, that's a huge thing, really. I think because plastics for a while they have been a menace to the world. They cause pollution, they clog our waterways, they kill fish, they do a lot of harm to the environment. And I agree with you that we really needed a solution, and I hope that through your edible cups the solution will be found there.
I also hope so.
How far is it right now? How can those people who want to use them get you?
Yeah, actually, this
Do you
year,
have stores?
this is the year.
This your year.
Is the year. So I recently traveled with my recipe curator to do a little bit of market research and get a machine that was able to help us produce the perfect prototype. So literally the whole of last year we're trying to produce the perfect prototype, running prototype after prototype after prototype, which weren't a success as I would have loved them to be. I mean, I'm a Virgo, so perfectionism is in me. So this year we were able to produce, last month, that's January, we were able to produce the perfect prototype, and now we are looking towards shipping the machine into the country, so that you're also able to now produce and now provide it to the public. Now the things that are in between, the gap between us and the public, is first of all we need to do a little bit of a laboratory testing, get the necessary approvals and the certifications, like the food certifications. But then soon we're now going to get into like private events, like weddings, birthdays, celebrations, and we're also now in talks with several restaurants to be able to partner with us, so that you're also able to provide for their clientele. So you're talking about restaurants, and you're also talking about the ice cream shops and gelato shops. And also soon the customers flying with Kenya Airways will also be able to have a taste of the products.
Wow, congratulations on that. I mean that's not something small, that's a huge thing, and I can't wait also to use it.
You will be
I'll be among your first customers. What really do you see as the future of climate change advocacy, or rather conservation and climate change advocacy? What do you see as the future in it? Does it have a future? I mean, like what you're doing, does it have a future?
Yeah, it does have a future, because I'm looking at the trajectory we are in, and I feel like to some extent, as I said, and I'll keep on saying, the youths are driving this particular advocacy level. So let me give an example. For the past few days, how has the heat in Nairobi been? It's been hot, right?
Crazy.
I mean, I think it's even hotter than last year's, the season. So I feel like as much as we are talking about the global or the ozone layer getting renewed and replenished, we're also talking about the global warming levels getting worse and worse, and hopefully if we're able to keep up the trajectory of advocacy, solution providence, providing solutions that can be able to help us solve this menace, then I think we're headed in the right way if we keep on working. But if we get tired and exhausted within the advocacy space and just keep quiet, then we'll just stagnate at where we are. But hopefully we get more people inclined. I mean, we can also see our leaders trying to push for the 15 billion trees. If they keep on planting the trees as they are pushing for it, then we're looking at a better ecosystem. Yeah, the key word here is keep on moving. But if we stop, then we stagnate.
I see. Yeah, we keep on moving, and that's why we call this podcast the world we want. Literally, that's the world we want. So what can the young people do to get involved in all these advocacy things? Probably someone is listening to us, they have a passion for this, but they don't know where to start. How can they start?
So I'll say, first of all, identify where your passion is, because you're not all going to be within the climate advocacy space. We also want more youths, hearing more youths in the mental health space, in the food security space, more youths talking about all the others, 16, 17 SDGs, because there's a very wide arena. And if you're actually passionate about, environmental conservation, we love welcoming, new voices. We love listening to new voices. We love listening to each other, because at the end of the day, we empower each other. We push each other. Let me give an example. Within the climate space, we have something called climate anxiety. So at times, you might get anxious thinking about all the challenges and all the effects you're facing, in the climate space. But you find whenever you have that climate anxiety, you have a contact, an advocate, and a youth advocate contact who can uplift you at that particular time, who can keep on pushing you. So at the end of the day, what I'll say is, first of all, identify where your passion lies. Is it in climate space? Is it in food security? Is it in mental health advocacy? Is it in providing access to quality healthcare for all? Once you've identified it, now start where you are. You don't have to start big, just start where you are. And over time, you'll keep on building and building until now you're also able to get somewhere. But at the end of the day, I think the other thing I also need to mention is don't give up, because I see so many youths who try something, and once it flops, they give up. Once another thing flops, they give up. At the end of the day, we say winners and quitters, right? Don't quit. If you feel it's too burdening for you, then you can find something else that can be able to help you fill your cup while you're also filling the cup for someone else seated across from you. So I think that's what I'll say.
Have you ever failed? Have you ever failed?
What? Climate anxiety.
Have you ever failed?
Failed?
Yeah, failed, not failed. Have you ever failed in life?
Yeah, I have. So many times.
But you never let that stop you from doing what you're doing.
No. Let me just say, I'm not. I try not to quit, and I always have to find an alternative. So if something flops, I may get down. I may get angry. I may shed a few tears. But at the end of the day, I'll sit down, think about what I needed to do, re-strategize, and get back to the table. So never quit.
I see. Never quit is the thing. So you are a law student. I understand you are a computer science student. You are a CEO of your company. You're a climate change activist. How do you balance all these things? I mean, how do you balance them all?
I'll say I try to balance as much as I can. What I learned, especially for myself, is waking up early. So let me just deduce it for you in an easy way. So I wake up early, say at around 4:30, 5. Probably get in, like move my body a little, exercise, then I'll get to work. So by the time I'm getting to work, it's around 5:36, right? So from 6 to 9, when a normal person gets into the office, that's 3 hours of work that I have accomplished. So I'll have done 3 hours of work, or rather secluded 3 hours of something and actually accomplished it by the time the day is beginning. And my day ends when the other person's day ends. So I try to balance my hours according to how much I can carry. So and in honesty, this past week has not been a good week for me, because I don't think I have accomplished what I will have set to accomplish. I've ticked one of few to-do lists. One of few things off my to-do lists, but at the end of the day, I wasn't in a good mental space. I wasn't energized. I was literally down. So I felt like whatever I can be able to handle, I will handle. If I'm not able to handle so and so, then I can delegate it. And if I cannot delegate it, it will have to wait till when I'm energized. So say for example, Monday I had a few hours, morning hours. Then my head started aching, and I had to go back to home and go back in my bed and just stressed. So at the end of the day, whatever I set out to do on Monday, that's what I tried to do on Tuesday. And what I didn't do on Tuesday, now I'll just have to keep on postponing it until I'm able to get my energy levels back. And now I'm able to actually now sit down and complete everything off that list. Yeah, so hopefully next week is a good week, so that I'm able to accomplish what I had said to do this week and next week.
Oh. All right, I think that was amazing. Really, you've also learned a lesson with scheduling and all that. I think it will help. So parting shot, really, just before we finish, really, what really can you tell a person listening to us, a person viewing us, a young person out there, passionate about life, passionate about climate change, passionate about conservation, passionate about literally anything, what can you tell them?
Well, I'll say what I always say is that you are allowed to dream as big as you want to. There's no one who should limit, the extent of your dreams or the magnitude of your dreams. Feel free to dream as big as you want and go after it. After all, it's your own dream. It's not my dream, it's not anyone's dream, it's your own dream. So however big or outrageous it may sound to someone else, if to you it sounds, achievable and doable, then do it. And at the end of the day, make sure that you do not quit on yourself, because we all have the potential within ourselves. We all have the capability to achieve what you said to do.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. That's been amazing. Talking to you has been amazing. And I never even felt time passing, but see how time has gone. So I think that's enough for today, really. And thanks for coming. I know it was really on a short notice. Actually, I called her on a very short notice, but she didn't give me a rejection. Yeah, so thanks a lot for coming. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the fact that you're ready to give your voice and contribute positively to the world that we want.